Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jamie and I do videos on lifestyle and my career in sonography. And for those who have been here for a while, thank you. And if you haven't, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. So in today's video, as promised, I am going to answer some questions. I posted on Instagram to ask me any sonography questions, and I got quite a bit, a pretty good response. And I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions now. And let's hop on into this video. Okay, so my first question I got is, what's your favorite part about being a sonographer? I love this question. The reason I say that is because I love being a sonographer, and I always like telling people why. And the biggest reason why is because I get to help people. I mean, it's as simple as that. I get to help people. And also, I've always known I wanted to be in the medical field. I never knew what I wanted to do until I was older, and this fits my personality so well. And the fact that I get to interact with patients one-on-one and help them feel better or help their pregnancy go more smoothly, I just thrive on that. I love it. That's my favorite part about being a sonographer, is helping people. Okay, and the next question, let's see here. I got asked, do you fill out paperwork to inform doctors what's going on with the patient after the ultrasound? And yes. Now, when I was in the hospital, we did what we called a tech sheet. So basically, it would have it was already kind of it was like more of a form. And as you go down the form, like let's say you found a lesion, a hyperechoic lesion in the liver, you would put on there that the liver was abnormal and what that lesion looked like. Now, as a sonographer, we learn what pathology is and what it looks like. And even though you might know what it is, like, I don't know, for instance, I'm kind of going to go off here, but for instance, like a lipoma, or let's just say this. If you know that the lesion is Mets, right? You're not going to diagnose on that sheet Mets. You're going to put on there multiple lesions seen and where their location, what those lesions look like, and you can put on there possible Mets, but you're not going to diagnose. That's not your job as a sonographer, even though you might know exactly what it is. Even polyps, as simple as polyps, you don't really want to diagnose it, but you will go on those forms and you will write it and you will send it over to the radiologist with your images. Now, in the OB clinic, we fill out our sheet on the computer. It's just like a pre-populated form on the computer, and we just go down. So if we saw the heart and we had the heart really clear, then you're gonna put normal or suboptimal or abnormal. You're just gonna go through and put it in there. And then at the very bottom, you're gonna fill out your findings, and then you're gonna go bring your chart to the doctor, and the doctor's gonna look over it. And if the doctor wants you to change anything in your sheet, they'll do it or they'll tell you what to put in there. But yes, for a short answer, yes, you do fill out paperwork. Let's see here. I got asked also, how is my new OB-GYN job going, or career going? And they said, how is your new job as an OB-GYN sonographer? I love it. In fact, I should probably do a video, an update. Maybe I'll make a video this week on that. But I love it. It's got its ups and downs, but for the most part, I love it. It's just, I'm so happy that this is where I'm at now. So yeah, great question. Let's see. Who is the one to tell the patient about a fetal demise? So I've asked this question myself because I have yet to come across one. I mean, I have early in pregnancy, I've come across as when I was working, you know, like PRN and on the hospital side of things, I did come across, you know, a fetal demise. I think it was like a 12-week pregnancy. I think the patient already knew that they were miscarrying. So, but I didn't tell them. I let the doctor tell them. So I sent over my report, told the doctor, the radiologist, what I think it is, and so on and so forth. And then the ER doctor told them. Now, in the clinic, I've asked this question myself because we deal with a lot of patients. Yes, we do have early patients, but we deal with a lot of patients who are coming in because of them being already having high-risk pregnancies. So whether that be advanced maternal age, gestational diabetes, the baby has pleural effusion or a heart defect or one of the trisomies or any other kind of abnormality. They're coming in order to make sure that their pregnancy goes smoothly based on their conditions. And we've had patients come in, and like recently we've had patients come in and they had fetal demise and the doctor tells them. But I've asked because a lot of the times these patients know exactly what you're looking at because they've already had 1,000,001 ultrasounds, and so then they're like, there's no heartbeat. Why is there no heartbeat? At that point, I'm assuming when that day comes, I can probably answer this, elaborate on this a little bit more. But at that point, I think that I would tell the patient, you know, I'm not getting a heartbeat. I'm gonna go talk to the doctor. We'll be in here shortly. We might need to take some more take some more images. But if you've had to go through this and you have any, if you are a sonographer that's gone through this, leave us a comment down below as to how you would handle the situation. But yes, great question. Another question that I get a lot, and this deals like, I think this is probably the question I get the most, and it's how often is math applied to sonography? And they'll also ask how much physics is applied to sonography. If you're asking like yes, you do need to know your algebra to, you know, going through college, and you definitely need to know physics. And physics is every day. And the reason I say that, no, you're not doing calculations and so on and so forth. You're not doing problems, math problems, but you are measuring things like pathology, and that is math, and you will put the numbers in there. So you have that as far as math goes, but like I said, you're not going to do any problems. Now, when it comes to physics, you're going to be using physics every day, and the reason I say that is in order to optimize your image, you need the best frame rate, and you need to know how to adjust your PRF or your dynamic range, or how many focal zones, so on and so forth. So the more you understand ultrasound physics, the better your images will appear. Now, if you don't have the greatest understanding of ultrasound physics, but you pass your ultrasound physics registry and courses, then as you get out in the field, you will learn as you go from watching other sonographers, or you know, just messing around with your buttons. You will understand how to get better images, but it will take a lot longer. So to answer those questions, yes, math is involved, but no, you're not doing questions like problem solving as far as math problems. And yes, physics is very much involved, but like I said, same with math, you're not doing problem solving. So in a sense, like math wise. So another question I got, and this is for the students out there. Any tips on memorizing important stuff like anatomy or physiology? Everybody learns different. For me, I have to write it down over and over and over again to get it to stick. That's just the way I am. Or I have to do something to associate it with things. I do know I had one girl in my school that I went to school with. She had a funny way of memorizing things, and she always related everything to sex. And it was hilarious, but it helped her. Then there's others who were very much note card people. They would always be studying their note cards. For me, like I said, I had to write things down. I like to draw. I'm not the best artist by no means, but I would draw like all my my spleen, and I would draw pictures of my heart and pictures of the liver and the aorta and the IVC. I would draw everything and label it. And that way I became more, one, I knew exactly where everything was at. And two, because I've drawn it and I've wrote it down 1,000,001 times, I memorized it. So that would be my tip. Yes, very tedious, but it gets the job done. But like I said, everybody's got their own way of learning and studying and memorizing things. Again, another math question. Okay, so sorry about that. I ran out of space on my memory card. But another question was, are you happy becoming a sonographer? And yes, I think that anybody who watches my videos can kind of tell that I love being a sonographer. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't even do videos on it. But yes, I do. I'm very happy and do not regret it one bit. However, there are days in any career that you will question whether or not you should be doing what you do. But those are few and far between. Let's see here. What was the hardest part for you to learn in school? Physics. Without a doubt, physics. But once I got it, it became a subject that I love. And I understand it for the most part. How long did it take you from start to finish to become an OBGYN sonographer? Well, I never thought that I always knew I wanted to scan babies. I just didn't think that I would. And the reason I didn't think that I would is because it was hard for me. Very, very hard for me to grasp the position of the baby, because you don't get to see it. And again, with physics, you have to really, really study. So basically, to answer that question, 4 years. A lot of my friends who I went to school with, that was the first registry they took. And they went straight into OBGYN. And then a lot of them are still working in the hospitals. And I talked to one of my friends the other day, and she was like pretty amazed that I'm an MFM sonographer, because in the ultrasound world, from my understanding, MFM is like the top. Or at least that's how I feel. I could be wrong. Let's see. If time or money wasn't a problem, what career field would you want to be in? It's a good question. And honestly, I would probably still do ultrasound, maybe be a radiologist. But now I would love to do like online coaching of some sort. The more that I dive into my educating myself on my entrepreneurship, and I learn more about YouTube and everything like that, it's very intriguing to me. However, I wouldn't have got to this point without sonography, because ultrasound's my passion. So, good question. Another one, how hard is the SPI? When I first started studying physics, it was very, very hard for me. The SPI, I think the first time I took it, I failed by, it averaged out to about 1 or 2 questions I missed it by, because I think I had like, you need a 555 and I had a 546, 549, something like that. But then when I went back to retake it, everything clicked. And that was only like a month, or that was what, I think you have to wait like 60 days to retake it. So 2 months later I took it, and it was like, wow, how did I not see this the first time? How did I not do this? It was so easy. So yeah, it's hard at first if physics is not your thing, but it wasn't that hard at all once I finally realized I'm overthinking it, which I tend to do a lot. How long did it take you to find a job? I live in LA and it's very competitive. Ultrasound is a very, very competitive field. It's continuously growing. But the problem with, and I say competitive, is the problem with finding a job when you get out is they obviously want somebody to have experience. And the reason being is because of the positions that are usually available to new sonographers are PRN positions. And when you are PRN, you're basically on your own. Like, you're getting called in the middle of the night, or you're covering for somebody. So your basic knowledge of ultrasound and pathology definitely has to be up to par. So it did take a while. And for me, I think I've mentioned this in a prior video. For me, I went almost a full year without my first job, and I did start to lose like faith in me ever finding an ultrasound job. But once I did, it was the best decision I ever made. So hang in there. Take anything first off, just so you can have that experience on your resume. I mean, if it's conducive to your lifestyle, like if you don't have children or you have a good support system, take anything you can just to at least get that experience. Let's see. Did you always know you wanted to do sonography? No, I did not. It took me a long time, and it was after having my child, my son, that I finally decided, I think I want to try this. So yeah, great question. And it looks like, oh, one last question here, and I get this one all the time. Is it hard to be a man in sonography? And because I am clearly not a man, I have my own assumptions, but I thought I would ask. So at the hospital, at the clinic, we have one guy that works with us, and another day I chaperoned him, and so I used that opportunity to ask him if he could answer this question for me. And he says it is very challenging being a male in sonography. However, he loves doing ultrasound. And I asked him, why is it challenging? And of course, my assumptions were correct. One, it's predominantly female. It's a predominant female field. And not only that, is especially like an OBGYN, different cultures don't really want men scanning them or seeing their abdomen, or just skin in general. And then when you have to do transvaginal probes and stuff like that, it can be very, very hard. And not only that, it's like, if you think about it, your experience being a female going to your OBGYN and having a pap smear or something, most of us want another female to do our exams, or at least I feel that way. But I will tell you this, as what I've learned, and I've worked with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In my short career, I've worked with 5 sonographers that were male. And every one of them were amazing at their job, and the patients love them. And I would have to say that the biggest part about it is that you have to deal with different cultures and be sensitive to that, because like I said, some cultures don't want a man seeing them vulnerable like that, and just a whole part of comfortability. But as a male, you can ease that fear or uncomfortableness by just talking your patients through everything and just being really good at what you do. So yes, it is challenging, but there are men in this field and they're great. So if you're a man looking into sonography, just know that it does have its challenges, but it's a very rewarding field, and I got that across the board. So anyways, that's it for all my questions for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, sorry for being so late at putting it up, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks.